Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Metal Command podcast, and I'm here to talk about the album of the month, which, of course, is Supersonic Revolution by Arjen Lucassen, of course, the mastermind behind Ayreon and Star One, and a lot of various other really cool projects that he has been involved with over the years. Now, for those people that haven't heard this album and want a good description of what the music sounds like, I'm going to talk about it here, and I'm also going to go into a few other things as far as this record is concerned. So first of all, I'm going to give Mascot Records a shout out. This earbook looks really, really cool. I ended up getting the vinyl and the earbook itself. And what's cool is the illustrations, man. They really did a phenomenal job. Now, if you're somebody, a lot of people buy vinyl records for the artwork. I mean, I actually listen to them. But for those people that really don't want a vinyl album, but really want the artwork and the illustrations, earbooks are the way to go. I don't usually get very many of them, but in this case, I splurged on this. And of course, Arjen Lucassen himself signed my copy of this, which he does for quite a few people when you pre-order these. So definitely, I love that little touch that he does where he signs a lot of these. I think it's cool. So what does this sound like? Well, first of all, let me say this. Where you have Ayreon and Star One, you have different singers, different people playing as far as, guitar solos and some keyboard parts or whatever guest musicians he has on those albums. This album is more of a band feel to it. This is an actual band as opposed to a concept album with probably 25, 30 musicians on it, number one. Number two, as far as what the music sounds like, first of all, I think it's a fun record. And when I say fun, I mean that these songs are a little more straightforward. It's got a more upbeat vibe to it as far as the music is concerned and the songwriting is concerned. And, they are more along the lines of more straight up rock songs and hard rock songs than really the more heavier stuff you hear on Star One or the more progressive stuff mixed with heavy stuff that you hear on Ayreon. This is more straightforward. I think this album, the sound of the album is somewhat between Star One and Ayreon. But it definitely does not have as many progressive elements in it as Ayreon does. It's definitely not as heavy as a Star One album either. And that's part of the reason why I like it, because it's more upbeat. The songs are more straightforward. This album itself, to me, is a really cool project, and I hope he makes it. I hope Arjen Lucassen puts another one of these out because I think this album is very good. Now, one of the cool things I like about it is there's some bonus tracks on it. So the earbook, you got 11 songs on it, the 11 songs on the actual regular album. You got 4 bonus tracks, which are covers. My favorite of which, of course, they did a cover of the ZZ Top song, Heard It on the X. A CD of instrumentals, which he pretty much does with all of the records he puts out, when they put the yearbooks out. And the 5.1 mix of the first 2 tracks on the album, The Glam Attack and, of course, Golden Age of Music, which, of course, is the title of the album. That's the title track, Golden Age of Music. Very, very cool stuff. And I can't comment enough about how cool it is that he just goes through and signs so many of these. So, personally, folks, I think this is a great record. If you really, really like the stuff that Arjen Lucassen has done, then you're going to like this. Now, is there a little bit of overlap? Like, are there some sounds on this album that are similar to Star One and the Ayreon stuff? Absolutely, especially when it comes to the distorted organ sound as far as the keyboard player is concerned, or some of the synthesizers played on it. Yeah, I mean, you hear those things on other projects that Arjen Lucassen, writes and records with and puts out, but the songs, the songwriting, and the overall sound of the record, and the fact that it's more of a band album, really is the big major difference between this and Ayreon and Star One. So I highly recommend it. It's out on Mascot Records right now. I will put a link to the song in the show notes and of course, a link to Mascot Records where you can get this. But man, I'll tell you what, I think Arjen Lucassen has done a phenomenal job with this new project. On top of that, just to end it off, one last tidbit unrelated to this album, they did put a vinyl album or vinyl reissue out for the album 01. I'm going to be honest with you, that came out really, really good. I thought that was awesome. And maybe I'll do a separate show talking about the reissue of that, but it's great. And the vinyl version of this album also sounds phenomenal. But again, check it out if you want all the cool illustrations and all the cool aspects and artwork and all that stuff. And you don't want to buy a vinyl record, get the earbook. The earbooks are great for this kind of stuff. So I highly recommend it. So with that said, folks, thanks for watching. If you like what you see and hear on this podcast, please, by all means, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, leave a comment. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.